Yeah, and that's you know what, we're gonna take it from here then. So we're here. We're back on my first trek. My name is MarkDeBono, and I have all the way from Brazil. I yeah, Brazil. You know,
Yes.
with the power of the internet. You know, influenced by the Star Trek past. We have a Zoom meeting with Simon Jacobs, who is the creator of the Trekkie Tracker. And the website, you can check it out, is at StarTrekPro.com. And first of all, let's just get into all the introductions here. Simon, how are you doing?
Look, I'm very well. Yes, I do live in Brazil. I'm actually Australian, but I fell in love with the love of my life 4 years ago, got married and moved here. So now I'm deep in the Amazon working on Star Trek.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if there's any place to do it, it's in the Amazon. You know, you really get the
Certainly.
nice weather and you get to focus your thoughts on building your thing. Now, what is it that let's get into it. What is the Trekkie Tracker?
Well, the Trekkie Tracker is something that I came up with about 3 years ago. I started watching Star Trek, not Deep Space Nine, The Next Generation. I started watching when I was a shift worker. I used to be a croupier in the casino.
Okay.
And I'd come home at night time and have nothing to do, and there was the reruns of TNG on the television, and I started watching them with great interest. And I soon discovered that there was a lot of Star Trek out there, many series. Look, I might have even seen the original series when I was a kid, but I didn't remember. Anyway, I thought, how do I keep track of all these programs? So I just started with a very simple Excel spreadsheet, you know, the name of the program, the duration. And very soon I realized that this wasn't going to be enough because it's such a huge show. And I wanted to design something that would give me an instant reference of where I'm up to in my viewing. So if I started watching a little bit of original series, or if I started watching TNG or Voyager or Deep Space Nine, I wanted to just look at a screen and know, that's the next one I'm up to, or I've watched that one, I'm now up to this one, or I'm in progress, I'm partially
Yeah.
watching. So I wanted an instant reference, and that's how Trekkie Tracker was born.
Now that because I would, you know, it just seems it can't be that easy that you're just like, oh, I'm done this show. Now I have this episode. There must have been a lot of like what had to go in behind the scenes for this to be created. You know, like do you input the episode that you're watching and the time that you watched it, or is it all automatically, you know, configured?
Look, it's much simpler than putting in anything. You don't have to put in any episodes into it at all. The Trekkie Tracker contains every single series and every single movie already in the system. All you have to
Wow.
do is press a button on the main screen. So if you want to watch Deep Space Nine, you press DS9, you go there, you choose the episode that you watched, mark it as yes. You can mark it as a favorite. You can indicate how many times you've watched it. You can put your own personal notes against the existing episode. If you want to research that particular episode, you can literally press the hyperlink in Trekkie Tracker and it'll go straight to fandom and you can read about that particular episode.
Wow. Yeah, so it's not like you can just do this with anything. There was a lot of information that went into kind of creating the data bank, right? Did you have to manually input all the links and all the episodes, and we can watch the episodes right on the Trekkie Tracker?
Not
Or
quite. You can watch some of the special programs and YouTube links. So where there's a hyperlink to a YouTube, for example, if you want to watch The Ready Room with Will Wheaton, or you want to watch After Trek from the first series of Discovery, you can do that directly from the link. But I can't take you to a Netflix or a
you could,
CBS All
yeah,
Access episode, but
yeah.
I can take you to information.
Now, in the Netflix episode, for example, like because you know the whole point of my podcast here is me watching Star Trek for the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So this is one of those things where it's like a blessing in disguise, where now I can have like some sort of log about where I'm at, and you know have like a
Oh,
podcast about the episodes, and then talk about what's happening
Mark,
in the time.
yeah, look, it's not just a log for you. There's a graphic representation there too. There's a statistics screen where you can see the percentage of your progress. You can see how many of each of the episodes of the series you've watched. You can see what
Yeah.
movies you haven't watched. You can keep a beautiful track of it. And it works beautifully in the timeline too. So, for example, knowing which program comes before which program in the actual canon order, you can keep track of that in Trekkie Tracker as well.
Yeah, and it seems like it's, it just seems like this whole concept of the Trekkie Tracker is why I've been amazed with the whole Star Trek world, because it's like I have never watched Star Trek until a couple months ago, and now I'm meeting all these people clearly from around the world who love Star Trek and are devoting chunks of their life to doing this. Now we'll come back to the Trekkie Tracker, but what does Star Trek, like, you must love Star Trek to put 3 years of your life into doing this. Was it more for your own personal organizational skills, or are you wanting to help the broader world of Star Trek lovers with this?
The second part is incidental. It was my love that I developed for the show when I started watching, Patrick Stewart in the Next Generation. But then I soon realised what an amazing concept the whole thing is. I mean, really, I'm a very strong believer that there is life out there. We're not the only intelligent life form in the universe. And I think that Star Trek wonderfully bridges this gap in our divide between what could be out there and what actually is out there. And that show gives me so much imagination and so much stimulation that I love to watch it.
And that really seems to be the thing where it's like, because I'm learning more and more that I probably should have started at the Next Generation, because that's the one that everybody's talking about. But I'm like kicking it old school. I'm going back to 1966, starting with those episodes. And the one thing I've been taught every guest I've talked to so far, it's a weird combination of people who like Star Trek, and most of the people who I talked saw it as a kid because their parents watched it. And then the other people that it was the imagination thing, especially being like a kid and you're seeing this stuff in space and different races of aliens, and like it's like all this type of like the sky's the limit, like literally, and
look,
a lot has come from it.
Look, true. But Trekkie Tracker, believe it or not, actually gives you another whole dimension to this, because you, for example, thought logically you start at TOS, right, at the original series. But, for example, next year, or this year actually, they're starting production on Strange New Worlds, which actually occurs with Captain Pike before the original series, and it's going to be brand new, and it hasn't been made yet. And then you've got Enterprise. Enterprise is before the original series. So the order that you watch is not critical. I mean, new people are coming in and they're watching Picard now, right? And they're starting with Picard. Can I tell you one more very quick, interesting point? If you're watching The Ready Room with Will Wheaton, which is that fantastic after show after you've watched Picard, and they're also running The Ready Room on Discovery Series 3 as well, they quite often refer to, for example, of TNG, The Next Generation, because Picard is is a continuation of The Next Generation in a way. And you can keep track of, for example, when Will Wheaton says, oh, did you see that episode in TNG where Data has a child? And I go, well, I want to see that again. So I can go straight to my Trekkie Tracker, keep a record that I've watched it again, and I can link the information, and I can keep track of episodes across different series as I mix and match.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's crazy to me, where I want to get into the possibility of where you see it growing, but I also don't want you to, like, I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about future ideas, maybe about if you don't want it to be out there, because if it's like under top secret information, but like, can you see this being like a social platform where it is something as simple as pointing your camera, for example, at the screen, and then it does some sort of recognition, and then there's like a social media that people can kind of, talk about everything that they're doing? Or is that already where you're at with it?
No. Those ideas are all on the board, but where one idea that has come to fruition that is actually in it now is
Yeah.
something I call My Treks.
Okay.
And My Treks is already in there. And what happens is this is basically a very fancy spreadsheet that lets you add in material you find that was not official. So you might find
That's
a
cool.
YouTube that tells you something really interesting. Now, when you've registered this with me, once a month I correlate all of My Treks, and then the upgrade automatically includes a listing of everybody's My Treks in your Trekkie Tracker.
Wow. Yeah, like, and that's just like, it seems like that's, because you have a background, you were saying, in Excel sheets, right?
A little bit,
And
yeah.
Excel is like one of those things where it looks so foreign to people, but I guess it's a powerful tool where you're able to do all this through an Excel style sheet, right?
Well, look, Excel is purely the back-end platform. It's a bit misleading, actually. I sometimes get messages from people saying, isn't this just a bunch of spreadsheets? And I know straight away they haven't opened it. It operates, and it is an executable. It's an application. It runs as an application. There's nothing, you don't have to have any Excel knowledge at all to use this. It's a program. And the interface is built with Excel, but that's as far as it goes. The rest is all programmed. You simply just choose yes and what you've watched.
Yeah, but it's the magic of Excel that allows you to, like, because you, like, building it on the back end, you could put that information in, and then it will automatically create your charts and your graphs, and
absolutely
and
everything.
it will tell you. And one thing that you were talking about earlier that I think is an important thing, because people have asked me about it, is watching it in certain orders. I've had people reach out to me and they're like, why are you watching it from the original series, like production date, not star date? And I'm like, I didn't even know that there was another order. Like, I just went with logic, which is like the oldest one to the newest one.
No. The beauty of it is you do not have to do this. And one of the key reasons why you and other people do watch it in what they believe to be order, which they usually start at TOS at the original series, they don't really realize that with what's currently out there, they should probably starting with Enterprise. But anyway, the point, and you should really be starting with Enterprise, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, but the point is, it doesn't matter once you're using Trekkie Tracker, because you can watch any of them in any sequence you like, and you will be able to keep notes and keep track of everything that's going on. Like, these ones here, Star Trek New Voyages Phase 2, that was made in, I'm just looking at my notes here, that was made by Star Trek fans, and it's a professional production. Okay, it's not officially canon, but it's as good as the original series, with fantastic actors and special effects. And then you've even got this one, Star Trek Continues, which is actually endorsed by the Roddenberry family. It went to 10 episodes, but then CBS interjected and said, no, it's not official CBS property, and they stopped it. These two are brilliant shows that next month will be in Trekkie Tracker, and you can go directly to them and press the link and watch them in YouTube straight away.
And that's like something that's just like, it's a whole data bank of everything. Do you have it pulled up? We can maybe see a little bit of like a run through of it. I think I gave you the screen share ability, just so we can show, we can talk about it a bit.
I can. You just have to give me a moment here to open it. But while it's opening, let me tell you that, of course, next year we've got another 2 brand new series coming up, which is Prodigy. Voyager Prodigy, which takes time around the Voyager period. It's going to be brand new 3D animation.
I think I've heard about this one. Kate
Mulgrew is going to be in it. And it
Okay.
talks about it's about a group of teenagers who take control of an unused starship, and that's being made by CBS as we speak. Um,
Wow. And
so
then so
that's
for you to
happening.
put all the information in, like how is it like while it's starting up? So for you to take the new series, for example, you search the internet because you have all the hyperlinks. Is it pretty now you have it down to a science? Like how did you start gathering all the information? It must have been so overwhelming at the beginning when you started this.
Well, look, I guess it was, but it did start off in very simple terms. It started off as a spreadsheet,
Hmm.
and it just grew from there. And then I realized that the automation was going to be very important to
Yeah.
uh, to allow you to simply find things from this front screen. Look, I've only got my development version up here in front of me at the moment, but I'm happy to show it to you. Let me,
Yeah, we can just so I could see like we can
yeah,
maybe do a
yeah.
little run through here.
So I can do the screen share from here. Yeah. So let me screen share what I've got.
I think I let you screen share.
Yeah.
There we
So
go.
here
Yeah.
we can see. You'll have to excuse a few. This is literally you're literally looking here. You caught me
This
slightly off guard. This is the
this is
next
behind the
version that's
scenes.
coming out. This is not
Oh,
the
okay.
This is the new version, which you'll notice down the bottom there, Strange New Worlds and Voyager Prodigy. Um,
Okay.
Voyager Prodigy is the new animation. No, sorry, Strange New. Wait a minute. Voyager Prodigy is the 3D animation, the brand new animated version, which takes place with Kate Mulgrew in the show as well. And Star Trek Strange New Worlds is the Captain Pike one I was telling you about, which
Okay, yes.
precedes the original series. That's not animation. That's a brand new full-scale production like Discovery, you know. So
Okay.
what happens here, for example, there's only one entry here, but for example, it tells you here that Deep Space Nine, watch view next, Q less, right? So the last time I was looking at it was on January the 6th. So if I press 9, for example, actually it's not going to it's not going to function to show you this, but if I go to Deep Space Nine, there's the
So
database.
it takes us to here when you click on because this is the developer version. This is
Yeah,
not the
yeah. This is
internet.
not the live. Here's more like what the live version would look like. So, or even here, this is even a better example. Here's the original series. So, for example, you've watched the first episode of the original series, right? So you would
Yeah.
simply choose that you've watched it. It then forces you to put in it asks you to put in the date. So you put
Okay.
in today's date. And then you've recorded that, and then that becomes part of your statistics. So this is the statistics screen, and it adds to whether it's the movies or the episodes or the other material. You can also
See, this
see.
part to me seems interesting because this seems like there's like if there was like a social media like competition aspect to it. People can be comparing how much they've watched, being like who's the bigger fan and all that stuff. Because this is all.
It even has practical aspects, like if you're interviewing somebody and you're talking to them, this can be a basis for knowing how much of the series or how much of the franchise they've actually watched. So how much do they really know? What have they seen?
Yeah. So
It's not.
they would go on here and they would go through and be like, I've watched this, I haven't watched this, I've watched this. And then I would look at that information and be like, oh, okay, so you've watched 600 episodes. I know how deep into the series you are. And they would look at mine and be like, oh, you've watched 6 episodes. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm very new, So I'd have a small slice on the pie.
Yeah, you can see here that I've only watched 2 of the movies, for example, which is the truth. And I've watched 319 over here on the left I've watched
Yeah.
319 episodes out of 864. I'm already up to 864. This is not including the 4 new series that I'm inserting in here. So, for example, if I show you what I call the animated series, this used to be just the original animated series, the very old animated series. But now I also include Lower Decks, but I'm also putting in not only Lower Decks 1, which you can see there on the screen. I've already entered all the episodes, all the hyperlinks for Lower Decks. But I'm also including Lower Decks Season 2, which is starting next year as well.
Okay. And then you'll be updating it as it goes, essentially.
All the time. Yeah.
It just really seems like, it seems like it's such a powerful tool, you know, like it really is. And we'll definitely, I'll obviously, if this is the version that hasn't come out yet, I'll show you what we're going to do before I release it. But it is like,
you can use this. There's nothing. It's just I just can't function. I can't show you some of the actual automation. So once you've chosen the program, it would appear here on the summary screen. But this is not functioning at the moment because I'm recoding. But do you get the idea here, even from this screen, right? The beautiful thing.
I do.
You can look at any episode and it'll tell you either if you're going to view it next because you want to, it's in progress or it's completed, and it will cover every single episode or movie. The movies, by the way, are tracked here. Where are we? My summary. So here, in the summary view, you can see all the movies you can see all the series at the top, by the way, a summarized version, and down the bottom you can see every single movie, and you can indicate when you watched it, whether it was a favorite or not, and that also automatically adds into all your statistics, and you can go to any of those movies and look up anything you want about them directly from the hyperlink.
Wow. And is there any, like, you have the My Trek thing, I know I was mentioning before, but is there any chat feature or anything where you could talk with people on it, or is it all kind of, once you update your information, it updates automatically, but we can't really converse with each other yet?
Yeah, not really converse, but here, this is the My Trek screen. So from here, there's nothing really in here at the moment because I'm just working on it. But people add their own. You add your own title, you add your own date, the running time, anything you found out about it. There's also a very sophisticated system here. I don't know if we even have time to show you, but from here, you can actually, see the button on the left, Share My Treks?
Okay.
So when you press that, it imports all of your data from what you've found on My Treks into a separate spreadsheet. It emails it to me. I include it in the next update, and then I share everybody's My Treks. When you get the update back, that list will be populated with everybody's material.
I honestly got to say, Simon, this seems like it to me, like I was saying, is such a birth child of Star Trek. Like, it's the amount of love and passion you put in this. Seems like it's like I know that you might seem like, oh, this was pretty easy to do, but it looks like there was a lot of work that went into it.
Well, look, there's about, in Visual Basic code just behind the program, there's about 6,000 lines of code behind the operation of this program. And it's almost intelligent-like in the way it now behaves. In the upgrade, by the way, this is nothing critical, but it's going to be fantastic. I have figured out now that when you open up the program, it's going to play you 6 years of Star Trek music theme all the way through, just in the background while you're listening.
That's nice, yeah. That's good.
And I'm even fine-tuning the tracking to be able to move the times that you've watched things. So if you had a binging day and you watched 10 episodes, you can accurately keep track of, in the day, the times that you watched as well.
Yeah, especially in the time of the binge. We are in the year of the binge right now, and everyone's just binging everything.
And you've got to remember that it's a program, not a spreadsheet. So even if you've lovingly put all your data in for 6 months, when I send you an update, you simply get the update, you press import, you bring in all your data from your previous version, and you lose nothing, and you get all the extra information.
And it just keeps adding on and adding on and
adding on and adding on. Nothing is deleted, nothing is lost. You don't have to redo anything.
And what happens if I delete something from the program by accident? Seeing that it's not a spreadsheet, it doesn't do anything, right? Like it's automatically there.
I've gone one better than that. Every time you close Trekkie Tracker or save it deliberately, it creates a separate backup of your data only. So if you actually saved it 5 times today and you think, oh my God, I want to go back to the 4th one or the 3rd one, you can go back to any save from the day you did it, as long as you don't delete them in the Trek report in the export file. You can go back to any saved file, and you don't leave Trekkie Tracker. You just say, bring in that one, and then it'll overwrite and it'll bring in the previous backup.
This seems like it's like all angles have been checked here, you know, like there's really, it's a very tight running ship. Now, is it obviously worldwide? People can use it anywhere in the world? Yeah.
Anywhere in the world. You just need Excel from about year 2007 onwards. You never open Excel. You don't use Excel. Excel is the back-end platform that it runs on.
And what about, like, I know, like, I have Excel, but what about Notes or whatever the other, like, Excel, like the Apple version of that? It only runs on it? Because there's another program called, like, Keynote or something that's, I thought it was similar to.
Not yet. I'm only one person. If somebody wants to help, great. But no, you'd have to use something like Boot Camp on an Apple Mac if you want to run it. You'd have to run it on a Windows platform. I mean, I also want to put it on Android and iPhone, but I'm only one person.
No, for sure. And how would you see something like visionary? Let's say you had the best case scenario. How would you see this on a cell phone? Would it be more of like I keep going back to like a social media app? Would it be more of like a social media app, like on a cell phone, or would you keep it in the same?
No, possibly, but it'd be more like almost a combination of what it is now with Netflix and social media. Ultimately, I would love to see it taken up by someone like CBS, and literally you have it on your phone. You can watch the episode. When you watch the episode, it adds it automatically to your database anyway.
Yeah.
You can go to anything, anywhere, keep a record, share your links. That's how I ultimately see it.
It just, like, you know, obviously this is such a powerful tool for Star Trek, but in general, it seems like if there was a way that you could do this with any show, like it really seems like it's something that could be so useful to people. But I'm imagining, I'm just imagining that like the back end is so much, because there is so much information. I can't just start watching, X-Files and jump into it, because you need to have that information put in, right?
You have hit it in one. It's the perfect evolution. For example, somewhere like Netflix, instead of just having the My List and what you've been watching, you could literally have it connected to an entire database, and you could keep records of your favorite programs. My wife, Madalena, was talking about Grey's Anatomy that she loves, which is huge and has been running for years.
Yeah.
You keep a record of your favorites. You could put notes against it. It really is the next logical progression to be bolted onto any streaming service.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I love how it started in Star Trek, but I can see it being such a bigger thing where you can share your data with people. You can see, like, going back to that whole thing of like, oh, I watched 35% of all of Grey's Anatomy. Oh, and you could literally see on the screen of like Netflix or Amazon, whatever, your progress report of every show that you're doing, or like, it's like, it really does seem like it is the next step, especially in the binging world that we're in right now. Like,
absolutely. And it's so logical. I mean, to be honest, Mark, I've got to say, I can't believe that no streaming service has even thought about this. I mean, people want to know. They want to. It's like, look, it replaces your CD library. Do you know when you bought? Like, the first thing I bought, I haven't got it here. It's on the floor. Is the box set of TNG, right?
Yeah.
And I love my box set of TNG, even though I never use it. This is the equivalent of the box set. This is your personal record of your watching. Now, when you go to your streaming service, you've got no way of having anything tangible. So Trekkie Tracker is that tangible box set of the whole franchise on a computer.
It gives us that power again to kind of like have something, like you're saying, like some sort of hand in the show, instead of just hitting play and then like laying down. It's like now, you know, it gives us some sort of purpose to you know. And
don't you find you get really frustrated when you're talking to a friend and you say, oh, I saw this excellent series on Netflix the other day. Oh, what was it? And this way you just pull up Netflix and go, series favorite, this episode. And it'll be there in front of you.
It really does seem like it is the next logical step in general, because it is all there.
Absolutely.
Okay, Simon, I got to tell you, this has been, I don't know if we're going to cut out here soon, because I think the Zoom meetings only go 40 minutes, but let everyone know one more time. Yeah, I told Simon we started, this is going to be like 10, 15 minutes, and we've been talking now for about like 35, 40 minutes, but it's definitely, there's a lot to cover it with the Trekkie Tracker. And like, why don't you just kind of let some people know like where they can get it and some information on the whole back end?
Well, it's very simple, and the other thing is it's very easy to download it. You just go to my website, www.startrekpro.com, and you simply press download. It'll come in a zip file. You just unzip it and you run it. It'll tell you how to activate it, and away you go. The only thing that I ask people to help me along a bit is that once they've used it around a month or 30 times, then that they contribute $5 US to help keep it running. That's it.
Yeah, and that's totally understandable. That's totally understandable for the amount of work that's gone into it here.
But it works out of the box. It runs. It just nothing to worry about. It goes straight away. As soon as you click on the link and unzip it, it's functional.
And I imagine you're not only the developer, but you're probably the support. If there is any problems, people can reach out to you, and you're pretty hands-on with getting back to everybody.
Yes, well, I've had to actually ask my wife to start helping me with these registrations and getting everybody into the database, which you can also do from the website, because I'm getting so much interest. I've been only running a few weeks, and like 2,500 people have downloaded it already.
Wow. That really does seem like it's once the ball gets rolling with it, I can really see this just being like a staple, you know, in the whole thing of binge watching Star Trek. But then, like I was saying, when it evolves, and I'll definitely, if you're okay with it, I'll try and mention it as much as I can when I'm talking with people in the episodes and all that stuff, because it really does seem like a logical step for me, who's watching Star Trek for the first time, and you, who's created a data bank of all the Star Trek episodes. So it does seem like it works hand in hand.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the new stuff. This is all fantastic. Like a lot of this new stuff is coming, and look, this old stuff, new Voyages. You've got to see this. This is unbelievable. You know, this is TOS with amateur actors and a couple of professionals in special effects that are probably better than the original series.
Those are always the best ones, though, right? Where it's not like this whole like Hollywood, what's it called, like recipe for a show. It's just like a bunch of people who love it, and then they're like, let's do it how we want to do it. Exactly. You know, we got some cash, and
And don't start me on an argument about what's canon and what's not canon. Everybody says, no, the canon timeline is only CBS official material. Well, how's that possible? This is in the timeline. That's another day. That's another day.
Yeah, well, definitely. If you're around in a couple months, we'll definitely have a follow up. And I'm hoping that you're going to be in a spaceship, because it's going to blow up so big. This whole program.
I'm going to be in a spaceship because in February 2022, I'm going on the Star Trek cruise.
Oh yeah, see, so that's going to be. We'll definitely be talking before then, but I'm excited that you're going to be in a spaceship. But yeah, Simon, thank you very much, and tell everybody the Trekkie Tracker. You can download it at StarTrekPro.com. And if there's any questions, is there social media connected with it at all, or? Where
all
can they
the
find
social
you?
media's connected. It's all on the. Sorry, I was off there thinking about an episode.
Yeah.
No, no. You can get me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all there.
And then where would they find you? Like at Trekkie Pro?
Yeah, look, you've got a direct link to my WhatsApp on the website. I answer everybody personally, and of course, my email. I answer everybody personally as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and I'm gonna be using it. I hope everyone starts using it, and
You
I
really
do
did.
need it.
It's
I
perfect
do
for
need
you.
it. I know. That's why this is one of those things where it's like destiny, you know, like I start the podcast, you reach out, we're talking, you're doing something that it helps me. It's like meant to be, you know?
I think so.
So I'm a firm believer of when things happen this smoothly we're on the right path here for both of us. Now,
Mark, thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been
no,
wonderful.
thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And if you're fine with it, maybe I'll reach out in a couple months and we'll have a follow up and we'll see where everyone's at with everything. All right. But I hope everything's good over there in Brazil. I hope everything's yeah. I hope they're good in both. And please go to TrekkiePro.com, get the Trekkie Tracker, reach out to Simon if you have any questions. He'll get back to you. And one more time, this is MarkDeBono, my first Trek. Thank you very much.
Thank you.